What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy September 27th to all of you, the last day that I have to grind an entire MLB card starting at 4:40 in the morning. What a relief! What a relief! It's been killing me. And this is our last Friday of the regular season, although playoff baseball starts Monday, and I'm going to lock in a couple futures on today's show. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag, 9 a.m. here in San Jose, Costa Rica. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Top Set in the house. Guillermo Zertucci making moves. Got big prep races starting today for the Breeders' Cup. And my dad's going to be at Santa Anita today. So Guillermo sent a couple plays. So did Dennis Garcia send a couple plays my dad's way. So I hope my dad will be eating at Santa Anita today. We got Vinny Cornell, Jermel Wright rolling. 3-0 last night. Eagles +4, Memphis -11. Full game over 54. Got that by the slimmest of margins. Actually, they covered and the over by the slimmest of margins for Memphis and the over. But Jermel Wright eating my guy Jermel in the house. We got Abbas says, goddamn Packers. My slump continues. You know, the old home team or no team didn't come into play last night. I stayed off of it. But, of course, the time I stayed off of it, the Eagles and the over, my two leans cash. Whatever. You know, at least when your leans start cashing, hopefully it translates to your bets to start cashing. Not Flush Allen in the house this morning. Boys and girls, Matt Roberts and I are on the boat in San Diego Bay. Catching fish, listening to the best show on YouTube. What a life, man. Nut Flush Allen. And this is a richly deserved and earned life that our guy Nut Flush Allen has created for himself. Incredible family. Kristen Capping Sports. Got Nut Flush Jr. in the chat. And now he's out on the San Diego Bay with Matt Roberts. Man, I hope you catch some big ones out there. Much love to you guys. Matty Roberts, Nut Flush Allen doing their thing. That sounds pretty nice, man. Eric Nisbet, boom, Eagles money line. I was thinking about you on the money line, Eric Nisbet. Great work. There's Jeff Joseph now. Says today's my beautiful wife Camilla's birthday. How about your best birthday pick? Absolutely. Gonna copy and paste that. Put that right at the top of my notes here so that I don't forget. So there's no chance I forget. I don't think you want my birthday pick. I think we should give a consensus birthday pick. It's my first feeling is Central Michigan tomorrow at +17. That's my first feeling. We've got the all good on Moore, the quarterback for the Chippewas, ready to go. This is not your last year's Chippewa team. I think +17 is a pretty juicy spot. But let's get a consensus birthday pick for Camilla, whom I've met, who is very lovely. Jeff Joseph, great work locking down Camilla as your wife. Impressive. Beautiful. Camilla, happy birthday. We have, let's see what else rolling with. Victor Lou, and now we got Chris Gill. Says, UPS Philly listening. Shout out to my guy Chris Gill in the house. Congratulations for your Eagles. That makes me feel pretty good. Makes me feel pretty good that the Eagles are rolling now and beating the Packers, because you guys know I've got a bunch of futures on them, so that gives me a bit of a relief. That fan took Eagles halftime too. Nice work. We got Illwise, Casey K, Chip Plylar, Victor Lou, Aaron, maybe Gio Mercedes. There's Ron Crawford in the house, man. Ron Crawford going to the big game this weekend. 2 tickets. Auburn, Mississippi State, 25-yard line. Oh, man, I wish I was right. Oh, God, that sounds like heaven to me. Heaven to me. If anyone wants to roll with Ron Crawford, hit him on Twitter. Shell Dog in the house. Eagles money line. Shell Dog was all over that. Great job. Stelios in the house says Eagles money line and the over. Let's go. Nice work. Nice work. Prince of the City said the NFL is the worst officiating of the 4 major sports. I would agree with that. It's barely above figure skating and boxing. Gio Mercedes says Matt Randall comes through again. Yes, he's rolling. There's Make America Great Again. Says fly. Eagles fly. Thank goodness, because I was in some big trouble with my futures. And still, I mean, you have to think that the Cowboys are clearly the favorite to win that division right now, but it does give me a little bit of hope on my futures. There's Mr. Jocelyn, cashed on Philly +4, Philly money line and teaser +10 over 40. Great job, Mr. Jocelyn. There's my guy Rasheem Luna, Eagles money line and over. Gio Mercedes, Eagles money line. Man, I like that. Kevin Pine says, miss you guys the past few days. Hammered Eagles +4.5 money line. Virginia Tech, Maryland, and ASU tonight. Okay, gonna copy and paste. Going to copy and paste that right now. Here we go. Copy and paster. Let's get it. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right. Beautiful. All right. Well, let's get to work. Josh Peters says, God, everyone tripping last night with Packers. There was a lot of Packers backers. A lot of Packers backers. But not a whale capper. That means Whale Capper's now hit 7 in a row. He's gotten out of his early season slump. And the audible today, 4 p.m. Eastern. Let's see if I can follow through with that. Come on, Chris Gill. You got to be kidding me. Please tell me that that's not. Chris Gill saying breaking news, Antonio Brown signing with the Chiefs. I mean, I have $100, small $100 Chiefs futures, which aren't going to pay that much. But please tell me that's not really happening. Antonio Brown getting a third chance that he does not deserve. Shocking. And the Chiefs continue to do that. I hope that's not the case. That's going to be a PR nightmare for them. Dutch Boy Fresh. 3-quarter Fridays. Wake up tilted. These Thursday games killing me. I stayed off Thursday games, of course. The leans cash. I don't care. I don't care about that. Ron Crawford with Philadelphia. Chip Plyler on Penn State over 50. So my hair can blow, says Chip Plyler. I'm going to grab that. Brad Wynn says the Cowboys suck. Well, you know, I'm on the Eagles futures, but I feel a little better about that. A little better. Let's see. Okay, Nutflush, that's not keeping track, but Nutflush, Ninefish, Matt Roberts, 0. It's still time. Still time. Okay, Chris Gill, that scares me. AM says there's no way the Chiefs are signing AB if they let Hunt go. This is a nightmare for them. It's going to be a PR nightmare for them. Mr. Justice's Air Force minus 19. San Jose still hungover from the Arkansas upset. That's a tricky game. That's a tricky game. I stayed off both last night's football games, which made the night way less enjoyable. Okay, Jim Rome's news says Aaron Rodgers out for the season. Come on, are we getting this news that's coming in is I've got to type this in. Aaron, come on, is this all right? Gingerly holds hand after strip sack. Come on, is this facts? I mean, then with hurt feelings. Okay, thank you, Jim Rome. Okay, I gotta stay focused here. Let's get into baseball for the final time, a 15-day card. Or 15-game card. Let's get after it right now. And I'm not sure how many moves we're going to make. Brian Beasley in the house. We got Corey Kelly ready to go. Prince of the City says they're breaking your balls. Guru Sports Bet says, how about those Eagles? We got Wally George in the house. All right, let's get after it. Tigers, White Sox. This is the start of a doubleheader. I don't even know if we know at this point who is in pitching the second game of the doubleheader. Do we know? So they have Alexander starting. Yeah, we have no idea. It looks like it'll be Ronaldo Lopez for the White Sox in the second game. Nova in the first game. Nova and the White Sox opened at minus 160. They're now minus 171. The last two games meant a lot to the White Sox. The Indians have been the class of that division for a long time. I don't know if they carry that over. I actually came close to backing the White Sox in game one. I was like, you know what? What are you doing taking a favorite in game one of a doubleheader on the last Friday of the regular season? So I stayed off of it. I stayed off of it. There's Ray Williams in the house. Dutch Boy Fresh says, I knew once Russell Gordy was on the dog, I was in trouble. Yeah. Richie says Russell takes every dog. That's not news. Okay. All right. Okay. Yellow Jesus says fake news. Okay. Ralph Borwando on Tigers under 9.5 game one. You know, I actually expect an okay start from Tyler Alexander. Let's talk about this spot. 73 Fahrenheit overcast, then rain. So we have an overcast, but now we're into the game. There's going to be rain. Probably going to knock both pitchers out of the game. Eric Nisbet says, respect to the Pirate Backers, fade the Cubs, and that's my team. Nice work. We have Tim Anderson going for the batting average title. 240 last year, 338 this year. Nova 2-0 with a 3.72 ERA in 3 starts against the Tigers in 2019. He's been bad in the daytime. He's been bad in nighttime. He had that stretch where he looked very good. That's sort of come to an end. Nutflush Allen putting the money bags beside the Giants. Nutflush Allen, we are going to need your Giants breakdown here on this show. We're going to need it on this show. Tigers, White Sox, game one of a doubleheader, rain, the last Friday of the regular season. You put that all together. I'm not going to sit here and put $125 on something here. I'm going to stay off of it. Let's move on to Indians Nationals. Indians Nationals, Desclafani. Oh, no, sorry. Indians Nationals. What am I talking? Plesac Voth. We got Austin Voth. This opened at an over 9.5, minus 112. 7-cent move towards the under. Huge move towards the Nationals. Opened at minus 110. Now at minus 140. Chip Plylar says, does Cubs manager survive? No, I don't think Madden survives this. I think Madden's going to be... I think Madden's going to be fired. There is the SBR forum in the house. We had a lot of movement in the Pick 6 contest A lot of people backing those Packers. There was 2-unit bets on the Packers, a lot of action on the Packers. If you aren't in the Pick 6 contest, there is still time. We give out $1,600 each and every week. $1,600 each and every week that you are still eligible for. Even if you haven't put in one single pick yet, you are still eligible for it. I'm going to pop the link in here right now. Here we go. Matt Randall says the taint is on a heater, baby. It sure is. Sure is, and I love it. I absolutely love it, Matt. Dennis Legendary. Nice. Dennis Legendary in the house says, I need the bag today. I'm broke. I feel you. This month has just crushed me. My paychecks are not going to me this month. They're very disappointing. Dennis Legendary needs some cash. Dave Walker, what do you think of White Sox team total over 4.5? Let's see what juice you'd get that at. Let's see what I'd be getting at that at. Let's pull up the White Sox team total over right now. I can't even believe that Bet365 is giving us better team totals than Heritage. I'm shocked at that. The Bet365 team totals were constantly the worst. I don't know. You're going to deal with rain. There's a lot of issues. Over 4.5 at -145. I'm sure it is likely, but I think Alexander could have a nice start here. I know the White Sox smashed lefties. Let's see what we're dealing with the lineup. Do we get to see the lineup yet? No, we don't. Let me refresh it. Who knows who you're going to get in the line? I'd wait to see who's in your lineup game one for the White Sox. It's a meaningless game. And then I'd almost want to find a 5.5 line, or a 5 line. Like, if you take the over 4.5, I'd wait and see if you can also take the 5.5 at plus money. You just don't want to be laying -145 juice at this point. And Jin Rummy says, my model had Eagles projected at -5. Well done. Great job. There's Jerry Beatty in the house. Jesse Daly. And we have a taint play today. Duke +3 also took him on the money line. Yes, that seems like a nice spot. I like that you're on it. Look at the taint play today getting hot. This is not the first time we've seen taint play today get hot. I love it. Okay, copy and pasted taint play today. So, no, I don't like the -145, man. It's just too much juice at this time of year. Daryl Lyle says the Indians need to win. Indians are done. I agree with that. But they do need to win. 79 Fahrenheit, overcast, 7 miles per hour out to left field. They're 10 games over 500 on the road. There's Rem Most in the house. Thank you very much, Rem. Yes, I was always a big Nordiques fan. So thank you for respecting the hat, my guy. Indians trail the Rays by 2 games with 3 to play. Rays are in Toronto. Toronto's still got Bichette in concussion protocol. He's been spectacular. This guy's just going to be so good. Brewers trail Washington by 1 game, trail the Cards by a game. So there is potential scenario for that 3 teams tied after Sunday. Jeff Joseph says, Jimmy, I'm on preservationist tomorrow. Speed of the race to be placed wherever he likes. Works very well, and I believe he is peaking. Ooh, that's a copy and paste. Jerry Beatty, Louisiana Lafayette is my play of the week, and I'm on fire. I love reading that. I love that. Don Reach says baseball grinded our taint down a little, but now it's fresh and ready to go. But it was baseball that brought the taint to the party, man. It was baseball that got the taint rolling. But I hear what he's saying, Dom. Dom also, look at these guys. Man, it's shocking how bad I have finished the season in baseball. Actually, speaking of which, let's put up this horrifying baseball record. 2-1 yesterday. Of course, I lost the first 5 in that White Sox inning. 0-0 going to the bottom of the 4th, and I lose that first 5 under 5. What a joke. First 5's just been killing me. And yesterday I was like, okay, good. I'll finish off the year cashing a first 5 under 5. Unbelievable. Hit the Rangers -112 and hit the under 9.5. Under 9.5. Let me pull out exactly what happened yesterday on the under 9.5 in Philly Washington. I got that at -120. Remember, Heritage was hanging to -120, and my book was hanging to 9. I didn't bet it at 9, and it landed right on 9. So, Pigeon Depot says Memphis was a great play. I was so scared at first. G-Sauce taking Tigers +1.5 -130. G-Sauce, I just don't like the idea of taking a dog and turning into a favorite. I think when you back a dog, you're getting that plus line, and that's how you pull out your balls. You take the plus line, you take the dog. But I hear what you're saying. Make America Great Again, saying underdogs 4-0 straight on Thursday night football. It's wild. Wild stuff. Unbelievable coming in saying, good morning, Jimmy and fam. I'm listening, and I'm driving and listening today. Before I go silent, took 3. First 5 White Sox over 5. Reds over 4.5, and Marlins over 5. Unbelievable in the house. I will copy and paste that right now. Unbelievable's action. In 15 minutes, we're going to be joined by Donnie Right Side. 20 minutes after that, Teddy covers. We got a very, very strong show today. Wally George says Colorado or Nashville, good future bets to get to NHL Finals. I'd say we got to find out. We got to find out what's going on with Rantanen. So at this point, I'd wait still. But Nashville is going to be very good. They're going to be very good. Very, very good hockey team. So next week, we're going to have less games, especially early in the week. So we are going to be talking futures in NHL and hammering all of our preview divisions, go over what are the best moves, because I still haven't locked any futures in. And but you're looking at a price point. What's the best price point? We got to find out what's going on with the restricted free agents because they're all sitting off at this point. There's my guy, the nuke worker in the house, says, good morning, Jimmy from the coffee shop at Darlington Nuclear. My guy, the nuke worker. God, I love these guys. All right, let's keep rolling here. Let's keep rolling because we only have 14 minutes. And if I'm slowing down on this MLB card, it's the last Friday of the season, and it's not easy. Wally George says, go figure, Donnie Eagles lose at home to Detroit, but beat Green Bay at Lambeau. You know what? Donnie sticking to the home team or no team mentality, even if it's his team that's playing. And that's how you succeed in capping. And you're never going to hit 100%. But sticking with the rules that you set in that give you plus units year after year after year after year. And that's what he's doing. So he doesn't let his heart get in the way with the motion. And nothing wrong with that. And I did stay off. It was more wrong being safe like me and having your leans cash and not making a move. Okay, let's keep rocking. Let's keep rolling. Washington rolls into the weekend on the heels of the first 5-game sweep. 4 games since coming off the injuries list. Voth has looked very good. 2.12 ERA, 19K, 17 innings. Plesac threw a shutout September 10th against the Angels, and then they skipped him on the next turn. And then he comes back on the 21st, allows 4 runs on 5 hits. So now he's back on the same. Now he's back into his rhythm. I expect that to be something good. Dennis Legendary says, who do you like most to win today, Jimmy? I'm going with whatever you say. Give me some more time. Give me some more time, Dennis Legendary, because I just feel uncomfortable with this Friday baseball card, and I do not want to take money out of your pocket. That's the last thing I want to do is take money out of your pocket. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this. Eric Jones' action, cash pick 6. Okay, let me catch this. Eric Jones, thank you for sharing your action with me. Love it. Love it. There's Jimmy Gomez in the house. Says, from the beautiful OC. From the beautiful OC. Ready for NHL as well, Jimmy? Yeah, I'm very, very excited. Okay, let's keep rolling here. Look at this spot. I actually have a feeling that Plesac could come off with a nice start. Still in saying that, I don't think I want to make a move here. I don't expect to make a move here. Let's see what we're dealing with in this Washington's total here. A first half total. Like, I just keep losing on him. Why would I go back to the well on this? Just makes no sense. But you're getting a 5.5. 6-cent move towards that first 5 under. God, do I go back to this well? See that weather. 79 Fahrenheit, overcast, 7 miles per hour, out to left field. Voth pitching well. Jair Beatty saying Maryland off a bye tonight. God, do I go back to these first 5 unders that have been killing me? I expect a playoff-type atmosphere in this game. Joe Rich Ramirez on Cleveland money line. New York first 5 run line. Twinkies first 5 run line. Diamondbacks first 5. Matt Randall, taint play of the day. We have the taint play of the day in. Mr. Joss says, you think Markets overreacting to Daniel Jones with Giants -3? I do, but I'm still wanting to take that under 49.5 if it's still there. I mean, if it gets to 50, how do we not hammer it? Yes, Mr. Jocelyn, the taint play of the day that's on a heater right now is Duke +3. He also has him on the money line. Oh, man, can I go back to this well? I think I'm going to go back to this well here, and I'm sure you guys are going to be ashamed of it going back to this first 5 under, but I'm going to. First 5 under 5.5. I'm going to take in Washington here. First 5 under 5.5. Let's see what I'm getting on this first 5 under 5.5. Just moved again, -116. So I'm getting -115. -115 at Bookmaker. It just went from -114 to -116 at Pinnacle. There's Marcellus Wallace in the house. Marcellus, hey, Jimmy, how about the Eagles? Max played great job. Marcellus Wallace. David Barraza says Indians screwed me again. Hope they miss the playoffs. I expect them to miss the playoffs. All right, made a play on this MLB card. Didn't know if I was going to make any. But while I say that, Dennis Legendary, let's sit here. Let's hear what Donnie has to say about this baseball card too. And you know what, Dennis Legendary? If I were you and you need a play to believe in, I would go with Matt Randall's Taint play of the day, because I think I'm going to go with it as well. And we know it's a play that Teddy Covers is vouched for. So I would probably take Duke +3. I would take Duke +3. Alex the Henderson Hustler says, Jimmy, you like the over 58 in the Air Force game? Jason Kelly says, Voth and Plesac aren't very good. Don't do it, Jimmy. I thought Plesac looked good. Until they were worried about his inning count and they skipped him once in the rotation. He was coming off a shutout. I think that he's going to be good off of a bad start, and Voth has been good. But that scares me, Jason Kelly. It scares me very much. Okay, let's keep rolling. That's what I would do. Okay, CT Bay says Virginia Tech tonight. Pigeon Depot says, I took the Taint, never lets you down. There we got Bookie Lover Q. We got Ron Lofton in the house. Copy and paste that. And here we go. All right. So we have CT Bays going up against the Taint. Play of the day. Oh no, Dennis Legendary. It's too much pressure, man. Okay, well let's see what Donnie has to say about a couple of these spots before you make a move on. Okay, we have 9 minutes and I need to speed up our pace. Okay, Reds Pirates. Let's get to work here. Reds Pirates 79 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour in. Disclafani 9-9, 3.84 ERA. Brault 4-6, 5.07 ERA. Disclafani 1.18 WHIP. He's had a pretty good season. 161 and 2/3 innings, 162 Ks, 48 walks. Stills allowed 28 homers. Brault was looking very good. Is now falling apart. There's my guy Viper NB in the house. There's Avi Gold, Jesse Daly. Jason Kelly says, Plesac is this year's version of Michaelis. Okay, I hear that. That scares me, Jason. Scares me. Don Reach says, I got to take Duke now after Jimmy looked in the camera, sat back and pitched it. Oh, no. Dennis Legendary, look, if we were in the middle of hockey and basketball season, I would have no problem hooking you up. But right now, I think that we should trust the chat more than me at this point. Reds are hitting 257.29 OPS versus lefties. Pirates hitting 271, 769 OPS versus righties. Cincinnati's lost 4 in a row, 5 of 6. The only guy playing out there is Suarez. Everybody else has just been garbage. Pittsburgh's won 3 straight, swept the Cubs. All of you guys on Pittsburgh, day after day after day. Respect and great work. And Jin Rummy says, clearly waiting for 9 to bet the over on the Nationals game. Okay, I hear that from our guy Jin Rummy. And Mark Williams says, Army smashed San Jose State last year. I expect Air Force to do the same. Don't let those 5 picks fool you. San Jose State is trash, says our guy Mark Williams. Okay. David Braz says, Braves' biggest threat to LA. I am excited about that series if we get to see it. I think the Braves they got their opportunity to try them out last year. Did not fare that well, except for that Acuna Grand Slam. I think they can come and give them more trouble this year. Okay, Brault gave up 6 runs, 4 of them earned, 6 hits, 5 and a third. Last Friday, 10-1 loss in Milwaukee. He's given them 19 earned runs over his past 3 starts. Against Cincinnati, he's been very, very good. You know, he got hot, he faded. These teams are both trash. The fact that the Reds are this big of a favorite is ludicrous to me. Absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Even though this Pittsburgh team is I'm not going to back Brault here. I'm not going to back Brault, but I can't understand how the Reds could be minus 140 favorites here. I guess Disclafani's that much better than Brault, whatever it is. It's just ridiculous to think of a team that's 32 and 46 on the road, that's lost 4 straight and 5 of 6 could be this big of a favorite. Jason Kelly says, what's your quick take on ASU, Cal? I've been going back and forth. Jason Kelly, and there's been these hints. There's been hints from some of our cappers that there's news about to come out from Arizona State, and that's why you got to be on Cal. I don't want to. It feels like there's stuff going on that I don't know about in the ASU Cal spot. I know a ton of people on ASU, and as a dog, I get it. But I think we should wait and hear what Teddy Covers has to say. And we've been getting hints that there's something going on in the ASU locker room that's And I have no idea what it is, so makes me uncomfortable. Jerry Beatty says San Jose is a great quarterback. Ray Williams says San Jose State is improved from last season. No doubt they're improved from last season. Okay. Jim Remy says it can always be wise to wait for lineups, but I guess you guys are all tired of MLB. Well, it's a tough sport, Jim Remy, that you're doing great work in. Jason Kelly says -4 is a nasty number for Cal. I agree. Oh, look, I'm not going to take Cal. So it was Arizona State or nothing, and now I'm leaning towards nothing at this point. G. Sauce announced this very ugly, gloomy day with rain here in Chicago. Pitching weather, taking White Sox, Tigers under. I agree with that. Rich D liking the ASU Cal under 42. David Braz saying Cal's D is elite. David Braz says a Cal with a look ahead to Oregon next week. Oh, wow. Comic Ricky will be at the Mets game tomorrow. Are you going to be there with him, Dom? Man, I hope you're there with them. What a great couple guys. All right, Marlins, Phillies. Sorry this is going so slowly. Marlins, Phillies, Lopez, Velasquez. All right, we saw Velasquez against these Marlins right in front of us. Completely shit the bed. I was on Phillies first 5 -1/2. They were up 7-0. And I did not cash that first 5 -1/2. My God. Phillies opened up at -175. They're now -189. There's been a 14-cent move towards the Phillies. This total opened up at 9, and it stayed right there. No juice, no movement. Dom Reach says, of course, oh, my God, we need videos of you guys at the game. Comic Ricky and Dom Reach, two of the best guys in the world right there. Jonah Reyes saying, take UCLA over tomorrow. Tommy Bolt says, please expand on that ASU locker room stuff. I'm going to pull out the notes. And hopefully we have Pink Eye Genie joining us, because I've had 2 different cappers talk about it. That some bombshell is going to be dropped. Now, Pink Eye Genie didn't say a bombshell is going to be dropped. He was just talking about the cameras in the locker rooms for the last 2 weeks. I'll pull out the notes and we'll talk about it, Tommy Bolt. We'll talk about it. I'll pull out the notes. And I'll pull out the notes when Teddy's on. So I promise you that. I promise you that. Okay, let's keep rolling. Oh, there we go. There's Pink Eye Genie now. ASU record is here 3-0 versus Kent plus 24.5, M State plus 15, and Colorado moneyline. I don't know this squad. Says Pink Eye Genie. Pink Eye Genie, can you explain? Pink Eye Genie is our all things Arizona expert, and it's perfect timing for him to be in the chat. And Tommy Bolt, he's not the one who said the bombshell is about to be dropped about the locker right now, but he knows this team inside and out. So I'd rather all questions be asked, move to Pink Eye Genie and not myself. Prince of the City says the Phillies were out drinking at Xfinity last night. Right now, okay, all right, okay. Let's keep rolling. Tommy Bolt, you're right. That was to not back up what I said there is irresponsible. So I'm gonna pull out the notes when Teddy's on. But Pink Eye Genie, if you could expand, I would love it. Oh, that's great news. And there's Comic Ricky too, man. Oh, you guys at the game together sounds like heaven. Phillies under 500 for the first time all year. Just lost 5 games, sweep 7-15 since September 3rd. Harper crying like a baby. Who wants to make a move on this? Pablo Lopez is so good at home, so bad on the road. I mean, to me, it's got to be the Marlins. They're got to be the only play here. But do we want to make the Marlins the only play here? Being a 14-cent move towards the Phillies. I mean, it's a Marlins or nothing type spot, but I'm not going to make a move. Attaboy, Buzzo TV. Love that. Love that. Oh no, DMX93 said accidentally clicked over 13 points, 4 quarters instead of first half for Packers. Lost 400, not a good night. Damn, DMX93. Let's see if we can fix that up for you. There's my guy Juan Ruiz in the house. And we got some early action from Shadow. Shadow, I like your Hamilton +6 a lot. And there we go. I read ASU as postseason ban beginning this year. ASU Cal under 43. Going to copy and paste that right now. Jason Kelly, Marlins team total over 3.5. I think that's a great look. Jason Kelly. Here we have the one team hasn't given up. Let's see what I'd get at my book on that team total right now on the Marlins. Marlins team total. And what's the weather? I'm going to have to check the weather as well. Marlins team total. Let's grab it right now. God, I did not get through enough of these games. 3.5 at -125. That's got to be the look, doesn't it? Let's take a look at what the weather is here. God, that just makes so much sense. Overcast, 6 miles per hour to left center. It's got to be the play. That's just got to be the play. I think that's a great look. All right, I'm gonna tail our Jason Kelly here. Marlins team total over 3.5. You just have this Phillies team that does not care. I'm getting -125 in my book. I won't line shop for it right now. I'll just give that out. Okay, then we have Rays, Blue Jays, Glass now back in action. God, he was looking so good to start the year. 1.92 ERA, 0.92 WHIP. And then we have Zook, somebody that we believe in. The Rays need this win. Glass now 2.25 ERA, 3 starts. But just 8 innings since he's come back from that forearm strain. Blue Jays been playing without Gurriel Jr. and Bichette. Let's see what's going on here. Jason Kelly says Phillies are packed up and ready to end the season. I agree with that completely. Let's see. I tailed you, Jason Kelly. I think that's a great look. Let's see what we're dealing with this Rays-Jays spot. Rays open up at minus 189. They're now minus 215. This total opened up under 9.5 at minus 114. Now under 9.5 at minus 113. Look, I understand that under 9.5, but I mean, I don't know if I can make a move on it. Bookie Lover Q says, are you on the Winnipeg game? I'm very close to being on it. I'm very close to backing the Ticats. But I have not yet. Bookie Lover Q. But I'm going to make moves on CFL. I'm going to make moves on CFL today. I just need a little bit more time on it. So let's bring in our guy, Donnie Right Side. We did not get it through enough games, and that's my fault. Tigers, White Sox, game 1 we got through. I'm on the first 5 under 5.5 in Indians, Nationals. Reds, Pirates, I did not make a move on. I can't believe the Reds are this big of a favorite on the road. It's just ludicrous to me. Then we have Marlins, Phillies. Marlins team total over 3.5, minus 125. I just jumped on. Rays, Jays. It's a tricky spot. Rays need this win badly. We have high hopes for Zook. And, he's not been great so far this year, but we have high hopes for Zook. He's a first-round draft pick of ours. And then we have big games coming up. Hopefully, But if Donnie wants to focus on NFL, we'll move towards NFL. I'm not sure if he wants to touch this last Friday of the season. Let's bring him in right now, representing Philly, our guy, Donnie Right Side, now joining us every Friday morning here at Betting with the Bag. I also get to share the screen with him on the Audible today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Donnie Right Side, thank you so much for joining us. We love having you on these Friday mornings. How you doing this morning, my guy?
Doing good, man. Football Friday, and we still have football here in the city of Philadelphia. It might have been more of like maybe a funeral type setting on a football Friday if the Eagles had lost last night, but they pulled out. They played wonderful football, picked up the victory, and there's life back in the city of Philadelphia. We got a football season. I'm excited, man. Love Fridays. Let's get after it.
Let's get after it. Yeah, I was very thankful. My futures were going to be in just they were all going to lose basically if they came back 1-3, and they got to have momentum now. They got to have belief now. They look like a team capable of going on a run through the playoffs. So I was very, very, very excited about it. Donnie Right Side. It's the last Friday where we'll have a full MLB card in front of us. It's a tricky time of year. Are there any moves that you're going to be making?
Just one of them. Like I always like to come on and say, you know what, where can we pick and choose a spot? And you're really, especially in the morning type shows before these lineups come out, and especially teams that aren't playing for all that much, you kind of get a different like dichotomy of who's actually going to be putting players out there, who's not going to be doing it. I'm still going to lead on the Minnesota Twins tonight with a team total of over 6. If we take a look at DraftKings and FanDuel, Jimmy out of New Jersey, one is at a 6.5 plus 112 if you like that plus money. But FanDuel is 6 at minus 104 before the show. I just like the setup. We're going to fade Eric Skoglund again. If we take a look at his second half, Jimmy, only 18 innings pitched in the second half of the season. 1 strikeout per 9 innings. You know I love to pick on that. 7.50 ERA, 8.14 xFIP. If we just take a look at what he's been doing in his second half starts, had a decent start versus Cleveland where he went 5 innings, 2 earned. Then after that, he's been an unmitigated disaster. Baltimore, 4 innings, 6 earned. Then he pitches 1 inning versus Miami, gives up 2 earned, 4 innings, 3 earned, 4 innings, 2 earned. He's going to give up some runs tonight. We'll go with the Bomba squad, hitting their 300th home run. See if they can tack it on and stay ahead of the New York Yankees. I think the Minnesota Twins can get to 6 or more runs tonight, Jimmy.
Yeah, I agree. Skoglund looked he's 2 strikeouts in 18 innings. I mean, has that ever happened before? I mean, we're going back to the dead ball era stats there. Merrifield looking to be the second right-handed hitter to lead the major leagues in hits back-to-back seasons. Soler tied with Mike Trout. And Berrios in homers at 45. And Berrios did not look good again last start. I don't know how deep he goes. You know, if this total was still at 9.5, I would love to have jumped on the full game over. What do you think of the Royals touching Berrios a bit?
It's interesting that you do, because if you're trying to set up your playoff rotation or trying to head into the playoffs, is this a game that you want to say, all right, Berrios, let's go out there and let's throw 95 or 105 pitches? I think it's more of a technique start, keep them in the loop, maybe go no more than 5 innings, and I think you'll be able to dig on the bullpen at this point. So if I'm going to take a look and I like the 6 to get home for the Minnesota Twins, Jimmy, certainly means I'm going to like the over for the full game to get over as well.
Yeah, so do I. I just don't want to take it at 10 when I could have had it all for 12 hours yesterday at 9.5. Let me just look at that one more time. It was 12 hours sitting at 9.5, and here I'm going to take a 10. I mean, I guess you're still getting that push. I mean, money's coming in on it right now. Money went onto the under for a little bit. Let me just take another look at what the weather is like. My only concern is these teams don't care. 11 miles per hour out to straightaway center. Frank Palmas' Royals are hitting. You know what? I'm going to make a move on it. Maybe, yes, this is irresponsible when I could have had it all day yesterday at 9.5. But I think Skoglund gets touched, and who knows how far Berrios goes. Let's see what I'm getting on this 10 right now. Going to go to totals here at sportsbookfree.com SBR odds page. Getting a 10 at plus 100 at 5 dimes. It's also plus 100 at UWager. Going to go over 10 at plus 100. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Royals... Actually, I would because Skoglund's such trash. Okay, let's keep... Bookie Love Q says those blisters are an issue for Berrios. Yeah, I hear that, Q. I don't even know really why he's pitching. Let's just... I did not get to enough games, and I know that, we want to hear what your NFL action is, but I wouldn't mind just asking you about a couple spots quickly. I mean, you know what, Dom Ricci, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this Mets-Brave spot with Stroman. I mean, here we have two pitchers that don't... I mean, what do you do about these spots where teams don't care, Donnie? Do you just completely stay off?
It's hard because the one interesting thing is when teams don't care in baseball, they're still professionals. And the good part about it is that even if you take a team that quote unquote doesn't care, they're still statistically going up there and caring. Are these players like, oh man, we're going to lose this game? Where in basketball, maybe you just don't shoot or you only play like 5 minutes and dip out. When you're in baseball and you go up to the plate, you're still going to get paid the very next season if you're a free agent or just your career statistics. If you're hitting 280, you don't want to fall below 280. If you have 51 home runs and you're trying to maybe overtake an all-time record, you're not going to go up there just to strike out. So the one sport that even though it's kind of half-assed, so to speak, if you're still not in it, those players are paid by statistics. They're not going to go up there and half-ass it at the plate or on the mound as a pitcher going to get paid the next year. You know what? Let me just groove 90-mile-an-hour fastballs just to get out of here. That doesn't happen. It's a little bit different in baseball as opposed to maybe football. We're just saying we're going to peel back and just not play players that are as good. There's still Major League Baseball talent out there, and we all know one swing at a bat changes the game.
It certainly does. So, I mean, looking at this spot, I mean, I don't trust Zach Davies in the thin air of Colorado, but Zenzatella's pitching better. I mean, there seems to be some dogs that look. I mean, I'm not going to get in the way of the Brewers. I'm just trying to take a quick look, see if I can ask you about any other spots here. Padres, Diamondbacks. I guess, you know what? I sound like I'm giving up, man. This has been a tough baseball season, and I'm just like, what about this, Donnie? And what about this? Okay, you know what? We'll hit these harder on the late show. There's Rob Stevenson in the house. Nice to see Rob Stevenson back. We got my guy Steve in the house as well. All right, let's move over to NFL. That's what everybody wants to hear from our guy Donnie Right Side. Let's see a sneak peek of some of the looks that you're on this Sunday. What's the first game that's looking very nice for you?
I'm just actually watching a lot of the stuff here in the NFL because, as you know, Jimmy, I like to look at the practice reports. You get a lot. I'm going to tell you one of the more interesting games and interesting spots that keeps coming up to me and really piquing my interest is that Washington Redskins-Giants game. Middle of the week, if you look, the Giants got hot last week. They picked up a victory. They're coming home. The crowd's going to be excited. Oh, my goodness, we have a quarterback. Both teams don't really play all that good of defense, but you know me, I've been railing on the Giants as one of the more least talented teams in the NFL. So then we take a look at Wednesday. Got Case Keenum down. He's got a foot injury. Colt McCoy comes back to practice, but he's not going to play in this game. Maybe you start a rookie on the road. Two of your starting offensive linemen look like they could possibly be down this week because they haven't practiced yet. Your one deep threat, your best wide receiver, McLaren, looks like he's probably going to miss this game or be limited severely with a hamstring injury. And it goes from 3 to 2.5. It makes zero sense to me at this point because you would figure with all the turmoil coming out of Washington, even though they played a really tough schedule to start, and I'm trying to build a case for Washington, but it kind of made me chuckle a little bit when that line went from 3 to 2.5, knowing the injuries of the Washington Redskins. Yeah,
and I've wanted to make a move on this under all week, but I'm probably going to stay off of it. It is coming down now. There's a 48 now at Heritage, still a 49.5 at my book. It sounds to me like Keenum's going to play. Just from reading the interviews, I'm not. It sounds like he's probable. A lot can change in the next 48 hours. But I talked yesterday about thinking, simply put, that the Redskins should be able to come up with a game plan with the Giants not having Saquon and already having tape on the option that Jones loves running. I just feel like the under should be in play. I think there could be a lot of field goals, but I haven't made a move. What do you think about this total? It's coming down now.
Yeah, and when you look at the Giants are horrendous on defense. So you're right. Like Washington's probably going to be like, oh my goodness, this is what real NFL football finally feels like after playing the Philadelphia Eagles healthy, after playing the Chicago Bears, after playing the Dallas Cowboys. This is going to be like a dream scenario. But that dream scenario, you know what I want, Jimmy? I want a healthy offensive line. I want my best deep threat playing. I hope Adrian Peterson would be able to get it going. But Darius Geis, who went down in the first game of the season, he's not going to be there. Now, having said that, the Giants can't stop anybody on the ground. So for once, again, Adrian Peterson should be able to get his yards and should be able to work off the play action pass. But I need those two offensive linemen for the Giants to be in the football game. The Giants have no talent on the front line, no talent at linebacker, no talent in the secondary. You should just be able to get points by it. But again, we're talking about two bad football teams, and you got to get into the 50s. But I do agree with the line coming down from that 50 range to 48.5.
All right, well, let's take another look on your card here. It's something that's appealing to you. I have made moves on this card, and I did add, I haven't bet it yet, but I did add on the late show, I did add the Chiefs first half minus 3.5. But I even see a 6 coming down on the Chiefs. So let me ask you about, I know I opened this by saying, what's your first look? But let me ask you, what's your read on the Detroit Lions? Are they a good football team? And could this be their coming out party, keeping it close with the Chiefs?
It's interesting because when we previewed it all summer long, we were saying, you know what, there's value on the Detroit Lions, not necessarily to win the division, make the playoffs, or even make a run at the Super Bowl. There's just value in them actually being an unheralded, decent football team. You got the all-pro quarterback, or the possible all-pro quarterback. You have a decent offensive line. You have a decent running back, got good wide receivers. You have a defensive-minded head coach from the Bill Belichick tree. You added some people in the offseason, the free agency. But this is one of those games where it's one of those litmus test checkers. Coming into the season, I'm looking at this game going, they're not going to be able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. It almost doesn't matter who the Chiefs are running out there, injury-wise, down-wise, their play calls. And when you have a quarterback that can hit every single throw in the field, that is going to stress out your defense. The previous week, when you take a look at the Detroit Lions, they probably should have won their opening game, but they should have lost in Philadelphia. Philadelphia was healthy, but now you're getting a better dose and a higher octane team. It's hard to be square, but again, I'm leaning towards the Kansas City Chiefs in this one until the Kansas City Chiefs, Jimmy, give me a reason not to lean on them. Well, if you're going to say winning the football game, I would be hard-pressed to see the Detroit Lions straight up winning this game, so I'm probably not going to take them getting the 6.5 points.
I'm already on the over. I got it at 53.5 on the show. I bet it at 54. I put it as my 2-unit pick in the pick 6 contest at 54. It's now at 55 or 54.5 at Pinnacle. That makes me feel good. But let's talk about some of the other looks on the card that interest you, Donnie. What else are you looking at?
Yeah, look at the Sunday Night Football game. It's a great matchup here because we're taking a look at the Dallas Cowboys who played 3 FCS football programs to start the season, essentially. Rolled over them. They're extremely talented. They're going to be a good team. They're going to be a good team throughout the season. They're getting a major break by going down into the dome, and they don't have to deal with Drew Brees in this football game. So when you take a look, it opens up at that 3.5 range, and now you see it come back to 2.5, which means, all right, Dallas is going to get their first test. They're going to be on the road. Let's see what happens. Now, there are some key injuries that we're taking a look at. Some offensive line guys dinged up for the Dallas Cowboys, but also more importantly, Amari Cooper at wide receiver. They need that guy to be healthy in this football game, but you're taking a look at now a 2-headed monster possibly at running back between Pollard and Zeke Elliott, which is going to be hard to stop. But that's not really where it's coming down to, because sometimes, Jimmy, when you take a look at final scores like last week, like, oh my goodness, New Orleans rose up off the carpet, going to Seattle. That was a fantastic win. But sometimes you got to get inside the numbers on these quote-unquote fantastic wins. With Teddy Bridgewater under center with that offense, Alvin Kamara at running back, Michael Thomas at wideout. You have a dynamic play caller, good offensive line. Look what they've done in the last 2 games, Jimmy. The Saints, when they went on the road to play the Los Angeles Rams, 265 yards total for that football game. And then when you go up and you play, 244 versus LA. But when you go up to play Seattle, what a blowout. What a great offensive performance. Teddy Bridgewater really rose up. 265 yards total in that football game. That's not going to last. You're getting an A-rated defense here in the Dallas Cowboys. It's square as hell to look at the Dallas Cowboys early, but just from if I'm going to get a healthy Amari Cooper in this football game, if I'm going to get a healthy offensive line that's going to be intact for this game, I can't put my money on Teddy Bridgewater. That offense stinks with him in the lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, watching Teddy give that speech in the locker room at the end of the game was like, it's part of the reason why we love sports. All he's been through, but you don't want your, I don't know, the emotions to get in the way of your capping here. And I'm not going to take New Orleans. I'm going to cheer for them, but I'm not going to take New Orleans. Let's look at another spot, and I want to keep going to your spots, but I'm on the Buccaneers. I got them plus 10. It's now down to 9. Beating market moves does not equate to profits necessarily, but it does feel good. What do you think of my look on the Buccaneers plus 10?
I tend to agree with you in this situation. It's a tough game because I don't get involved a whole lot in like double-digit type lines or, a team going on the road. I think we can all agree the Rams are the much better football team. Now, the one injury situation that I'm keeping an eye on here, we saw Mike Evans last week. I mean, he's got back to normal. But again, you went against a really terrible and underwhelming Giants secondary. So now you come into this football game, you're going up against a much better defense. So Tampa's going to have a little bit of problem moving the football with such ease as they did versus the New York Giants. But the Godwin injury on the opposite side, because what that allows you to do, because you're still going to get Mike Evans, I get it. But now if Godwin is down, dinged, or he's hurt in that football game with a hip injury, now you just roll your coverage over to Mike Evans when you already have a really good front seven and a good back end. That's going to make it really tough to score, which gets back to my next point here. When I'm taking a look at the Los Angeles Rams, talented on defense, talented on offense, something just not quite there with Jared Goff with this ability to run it up. Right now, I have the Rams more of underlooks than actually overlooks at this point. And if I'm going to get an injured Godwin when maybe he doesn't go on Sunday, Jimmy, I like the under in this game.
I was interested in the under. The only thing that kind of kept me off was now I know that if this is my fear, then how could you back the Bucs? But my fear of Winston, pick six and things of that nature, my fear of quick scores is the only thing that kept me off. In saying that, how could you take the Buccaneers? I just felt like it was too many points at 10. Donnie, what's another look on this card that you are after on this big Sunday ahead of us?
Yeah, I mean, we'll pick on the big games because they're the most fun to talk about. 271, 272, Minnesota and Chicago, Cousins and Trubisky. Taking a look at the line, opens up around that 3 range at SBRodds.com. Dips now. You can get Chris offshore at -2, -108. DraftKings out of New Jersey, 2. Sugar House out of New Jersey, -2, and it's going lower. And isn't it just the scare tactic right here? If you just could come into the game, we said it every week so far. If you could say, you know what? Mitch is going to play okay in this football game. You would back the Bears to the hill at home under a touchdown in this football game. What's the one thing that we really like with Minnesota coming out so far? It's not Kirk Cousins' play. It's Dalvin Cook opening up the running game, being explosive in the running game because the passing game hasn't quite been there for the Minnesota Vikings. But this is the one team that you figure would be able to handle Dalvin Cook with the speed that they have at linebacker. I think this is a must-win type of game for the Bears, but I still get back to the pick six. I'm going to be truthful. In the pick six contest, I do have the Chicago Bears. Got them at 1.5 on the contest board, and I'll lean on that because it's a home team. I think they should win. But, boy, isn't it tough? Like, you should not be looking at this saying the Bears have one of the best defenses we've seen over the past decade in the NFL, and they're at home giving less than a field goal, and you're just worried about the quarterback play. It's astounding that it's come to this at this point, but it does. I still lean on the Bears right now, but this is going to be a fascinating game to watch because it's one of those with either way you bet like, I knew I shouldn't have taken Kirk Cousins, or I can't believe I bet on Mitchell Trubisky in this football game. It's going to be fun to watch, and I'm waiting to dissect the final injury reports and see what actually breaks down, but I'm really looking forward to this football game at 4 o'clock on Sunday.
I love defensive football. I love the big hits. I love the stops. I don't need touchdowns to have my fist pumping and to be screaming. I'm very excited about this game as well. Let me ask you this. Colts open at -7. Now they're at 6.5. Raiders are on this road trip. They look bad. I've been staring at this Colts spot, all week and haven't pulled the trigger. Now 6.5s are on the board. Is this Colts team a team you want as dogs and don't want as big favorites, Donnie?
It's interesting because it's a tough spot to be in because we're waiting for like the Oakland implosion, aren't we? Like here comes that long stretch that they're going to be on the road. They got blown up last week after that fun rah-rah victory week 1. That starts to settle in. Like maybe this Oakland Raiders team really isn't that good a football team. We didn't have high hopes even with Antonio Brown on that football game. What was the team totals? Like 5.5 or 6 that they were listed at. The only problem I have here with the Colts is this might be a deep breath football game where you say, all right, maybe Pierre Desser, who hasn't practiced yet this week, doesn't suit up at cornerback. That'll be down. T.Y. Hilton, who opens everything up in the passing game. And as you saw last week just with the Atlanta Falcons, they moved the ball frequently. They're really good in the first half. When T.Y. Hilton went out in the second half, those points were a lot harder to come by. Take a look at Malik Hooker. It's probably not going to play in this football game. Another few, Darius Leonard, are you going to rush him back off a concussion with how important he is to this football team? Hasn't practiced next week. You should be able to win this football game even without that talent. But I think it leads to a little bit lower scoring game. And it's hard to say that you're trying to lead and build a case on the Oakland Raiders at this point. But you're right, Jimmy. When you're taking a look at the Colts, got to win by 7 with maybe one hand tied behind their back. Maybe the Raiders can sneak in that back door late in this football game.
Yeah, I'm hesitant. Let me ask you about another spot that I'm on before we move. You know what? Actually, how about this? This is a chance to have Donnie here with us right now, and we're not going to have. What about this Monday nighter? We are going live again with the stars of the KegCast. We're going live again and get the opportunity to sit beside Flash, and I really want to have action on this game, but I don't want to force action. And I guess I've already sort of stated that I'm going to be forcing action. But I would like to have action. And I don't mind if I don't have a side or a total. I can find a prop. So I don't need to force a side or a total. But let's talk Bengals Steelers on Monday night, Donnie. This total opened up at 43.5. There's a couple books that have moved it to 44. Pittsburgh opened at -4.5. Now they're -3.5. And I've already seen Whale Capper on the Bengals. What do you think about this Monday nighter? And I would like to have action on it. So why don't you? What's your idea of how this game is going to bang out with Mason Rudolph now at the helm after a road game against a tough defense? Going to find this defense easier than he did with the 49ers. What's your thoughts on the Monday nighter?
Yeah, I mean, what do we like out of the Pittsburgh offense so far? And I think you're actually getting a little bit of value here on the Cincinnati Bengals. I took them at 4.5 in the Pick Six contest right here at SBR, and I'm going to stick behind that play. Do I think the Pittsburgh Steelers should and can win the game? Absolutely, I do. You have to sort of rally the troops. They're 0-3. You go 0-4. People's jobs are going to be on the line, talking about, firing the GM, not renewing his contract, and maybe moving on from Mike Tomlin at this point. But I can't get this out of my mind, Jim, because last week, let's just say the San Francisco 49ers don't implode, right? They doubled them in yardage compared to the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they don't implode, the Steelers get blown out in that football game. And it always comes back to the same adage. When we're trying to take a look at like the teams like New Orleans and really trying to find value or what side we're looking for, you can only look at what the offense is actually doing, because if you have a lagging offense and you're favored, that doesn't really add up too well. Because to take out the New England game with Big Ben in the first game, they play Seattle, Jimmy. Big Ben gets hurt in that football game, late second quarter, early in the second quarter, 81 yards on the ground, 180 in the air. Then they go out and play the San Francisco 49ers. Not the biggest juggernaut, and you know as well as I do, San Francisco is going to be able to move the football. You're going to get more possessions, 79 yards on the ground and 160 yards in the air. Cincinnati, just by default, is going to hang around in this football game. I'm not sure they can win it, but I'm not going to pass up getting the 4.5 with the Cincinnati Bengals.
That makes perfect sense. What do you think about this total at 43.5? We've already had some guys come in, like my guy Jermel Wright, who's on a heater and is a great capper, and he says no defense in the Monday nighter. This is a divisional game where what we remember from these two teams is hatred and defense. Do you think there's a chance that we don't see defense on Monday?
It's hard because when you're taking a look at the low 40s, you need just about everything to go right in your direction. But again, I can only go off of what I've seen Mason Rudolph, he's got a live arm. He's active in the pocket. He makes some decent throws. But at the end of the day, aren't you what your statistics are? If you're throwing for 160 and 180 in football games, that doesn't scream over. That screams the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to say, you know what, let's get the front seven after Andy Dalton. Let's limit the mistakes, which, last week we fed off of against the San Francisco 49ers. If that doesn't happen, where's the offense going to go? I lean under. Even though I hate betting unders and rarely, if any, bet unders, this game doesn't scream over to me, Jimmy.
No, it doesn't. I'm interested that Jermel was on that. Jermel was eating again last night, 3-0 last night. Got that Memphis cover, got that over in the Memphis Navy game. And that was a squeaker. Got both those and was on Eagles +4. So great job, Jermel. Okay, well, at least I can say, Donnie, we get to do this for an hour. Thank God we get to do this for an hour on today, Friday, 4 p.m. with the Whale Capper. Whale Capper hit with the Eagles last night. Whale Capper on a 7-game winning streak to get himself rolling because he was not looking good early, now looking very good. Donnie's still eating in NFL. I'm the straggler. I'm the one limping in the background with the black eye. I've got to get my shit together, and hopefully you guys can lead me to glory. Donnie, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. Love working with you and can't wait to see you on the Audible today. Donnie, can you tell us where we can find you on Twitter and a little bit about your closing line show on Sunday mornings?
Yeah, no, Twitter at RightSide VP as usual. We'll be on the Audible a little bit later today doing a radio show in the afternoon on WCKG Radio. Going to talk a little bit of UFC action as well as set you up for the card on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday football. And also, yes, Sunday mornings, man. We have a good time on the closing line. Me and the big man on campus having a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite shows to do. Just like we set up, I think everything registers perfectly here at SBR, Jimmy. We have the Tuesday show on the Audible to set up the card. We have the Friday show on the Audible to fine-tune the card. And then I have the closing line on Sunday to put the final dotted I's and crossed T's on that before kickoff here. Doing big things here at Sportsbook Review. On Monday as well, Jimmy, be adding a video there to the cast at night before the Monday Night Football game. So we're doing a lot of things, a lot of fun. And hey, it's only that chat box helps us out, keeps coming in the chat box, giving us grief when we lose, patting us on the back when we win. It's Football Friday at sportsbookreview.com. Love it, Jimmy. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
It's our pleasure. There he is, Donnie Right Side. Calls it grief and patting on the backs. That's very kindly put. Very kindly put, because it can be a lot more horrifying than that. Donnie Right Side in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. We go right from Donnie Right Side to Teddy Covers. How about that 1-2 punch? Donnie Right Side, Teddy Covers. Teddy Covers coming to us live from Las Vegas, Nevada on this Friday morning. And we've talked all week, so it's time to put bets in. And Teddy Covers is the best man for us to do that with. Teddy Covers, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. Jimmy cashed with the Eagles last night, so that's always fun to start the weekend off with a winner, and we'll see if we can keep it rolling all weekend long. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Of course, both my leans hit last night in NFL, but I don't mind. I don't mind sticking with the old adage, and I love that you guys went against it. We saw some great cappers going against the home team or no team on Thursday night and cashing the over cash these leaves. It was great work by a lot of great cappers. And
let me jump in, Jimmy, because it's really important to note that road teams don't cover on Thursday night is real, but not for the first month of the season. If you look through the first 4 weeks of the season, road teams are just fine on Thursday night football. It's after teams have already gotten into their rhythm, playing every Sunday, that when they play that Thursday night game in October and November, much more difficult than doing it in September. So that trend is real, but when you actually go in and micro adjust the parameters, you see that September, it's not real. October, November, it is.
It's a great point. Great point. My guy Jamel says school's in session. Teddy Covers is here. All right, we've got a lot of questions coming in, and we're going to talk NCAA football. We want to talk about what's going on tonight. But while we've been talking NFL, my guy Chip Plylar says, what guy Chip is? Teddy, I respectfully request Titans versus Atlanta chat. And this is a tricky game on the card. So let's go from here, and then let's move on. Let's move on to NCAA football. Tennessee Falcons, it's been a tricky spot all week. Atlanta opening up -5, which seemed ridiculous. Tennessee always seems to step up as a dog and shit the bed as a favorite. Atlanta goes to -4. Now we see 3.5s at U-Wager, at Bet Online, a bookmaker. Chip Plylar has... how did he put it? How did Chip put it? He respectfully requests some info. What are you thinking about this Titans-Falcons spot?
So I'm in play on this game. I laid with Atlanta. I laid 3.5 with Atlanta this morning. Two thought process here. One, there's one overwhelming thought process. This is Atlanta's season. Just like last night was Philadelphia's season, and they played like it. You know, they got punched in the mouth early, and then they came out. They played great after they fell behind 10-0. And they forced a stop to fall behind. If they'd have fallen behind 14-0, it might have been a different game. But they got the stop, and the intensity was there for Philly all night. The quotes coming out of that Falcons locker room all week is, look, our season's on the line. This is it. You know, we disappointed last year. We were a playoff team 2 years ago, Super Bowl team 3 years ago. I'm expecting a concerted effort from Atlanta. And when you look at what they've done at home, you know, I mean, this is a team with a pretty sharp home road dichotomy. You look at their point production totals last year, the year before that, pretty consistent. Tennessee can't trade points with this team. You know, the only chance the Titans have in this game, Titans do correlate with under. You know, the 48 they scored in week 1 against Cleveland, they ain't doing that again anytime soon. Not without Taylor Lewin in the lineup. And he'll come back after this week, which will improve their offensive line. But I don't think that Tennessee can trade points here. I like Atlanta minus. I think the spot really sets up. And when you look at these two offenses, one team can score, one team struggles. Falcons minus is the play for me.
Falcons minus is the play for Teddy Covers. Teddy, let's get into college football right now. Let's get into tonight's action. We have Duke, Virginia Tech, big game there. Penn State, Maryland, San Jose State Air Force, and Arizona State, California. First off, I know it's the late game, but Ron Lofton just said, my Sun Devils lose by at least 10 tonight against this Cal team. Let's start there because that's a pretty provocative statement. Arizona State, California. California opening up at -5.5. They're now -4. Are we getting value now at Cal at -4?
So my initial lean early in the week was towards Arizona State plus. I'm like, I like Cal as a dog. I don't like Cal coming off a win as a top 25 team, a controversial win, and now they got to lay points to a really strong defensive foe. Arizona State has been a great road dog in the Herm Edwards era. They have not lost a single game by more than a touchdown on the highway over the last year and a half. So my initial lean was towards Arizona State plus. Then we started really looking at it. We're like, hey, is this Frosh QB going to be able to move the football against an elite defense on the road? Couldn't move it against Sparty. The defense played great, but they couldn't move the football in that game. And I'm not convinced they moved the football in this game either. I'm a believer in Cal's defense. And Garbers has been a lot better the last couple of weeks than he was at any point last year. Last year they don't close out the win against Washington. Last year they don't close out the win against Ole Miss. So it's an elite defense and a quarterback who's getting better. My initial lean towards Arizona State is now a full pass. I'm not going to get involved in the game. That being said, I lean one way. The money's come on that side. The information and the research that I've done says, not so much. I wouldn't talk you out of Cal here. The initial lean is now a no play. So it's not like I'm kind of leaning that way still. I'm not. I'm neutral, which means if you like Cal, knock yourself out. Have a good time. I hope they win.
Jose Ruiz says, I'm on Arizona State to keep it close. Russell Gordy says, Cal is a fraud, taking Arizona State. CT Bays like in the over in the Cal game. We had some people in the chat like in the under earlier. Let me move to spreads and totals here at sportsreview.com, SBR odds page, and see what we are dealing with here with the total. This total opened up at 40.5 and it shot up to 42.5. What do you think about that total?
Well, I'm not playing it. I'm flat out not going to play it. I don't think Cal's a fraud. Cal might not be one of the 20 best teams in the country, but this team's not a fraud. Their defense is legit. And I don't think Arizona State's going to move the football up and down the field here. The question is what the Cal offense is capable of doing. This game could be a 10-7 type. It could be Michigan State, Arizona State all over again. A 13-10 type of contest. And it wouldn't shock me in the slightest. But and again, we've seen enough from Garbers now that I'm starting to think this is a quarterback that I did not like coming into the season, that I watched early, and he's looked better the last couple of weeks. And with him looking better, that Cal offense has some potency to it, and they could get points. But, again, the numbers already moved up too, and that's wise guy money for what it's worth. So sharps are seeing something they like in the over here. I don't have a strong take.
Well, CT Bays is a sharp as well, like in the over. Yes, Jerry Beatty, I got your question about Lala. We will get to that. I want to start with these Friday games, and then I want to hear what Teddy wants to do. But throw in your questions, and I will ask. Next spot, our guy Joshua Gray, another great capper, says Air Force team total over 36.5 is the best bet tonight. San Jose State is garbage. What do you think of Joshua Gray's comment? And what do you think about this spot where Air Force opens at 20.5, now minus 19.5 or 19 at Bet Online? This total opened at 55, now at 57.5. Teddy covers. What do you think of this spot?
So I struggle to bet Air Force games over the total. I do. I don't get to the window with any of the service academies over very often because the pace isn't there and the big plays aren't there. When I'm betting overs, I want at least one of those two. I want a team that's going to push the pace and or a team that's going to break off big plays. That's not Air Force, so I don't get involved with an Air Force total and a team total. Air Force is happy to win this game. I mean, they could. Last time San Jose faced an option team was, I think, 52-3. It wasn't competitive. Air Force could do it. Wouldn't shock me at all. But to go over 36.5 is going to require a fair bit of execution on offense. Air Force is capable of doing that, but it's you have a penalty, you have a turnover, oops. Air Force isn't built to overcome those type of things. So I'm not going to talk you out of it. I do think I'm with you in thinking that San Jose is garbage. And San Jose won a huge game last week. Now on the road in altitude against a team that's going to be difficult to prepare for. I'm with you conceptually. But the price isn't right for me. So I didn't get involved in the game. I didn't get involved in the team total. I'm not going to get involved in the total. I'm not going to talk you out of it, but that 36.5 is too high.
36.5, too high. All right.
For me.
No, I hear that. I hear that. It's a tricky. It's not. There's a lot of moving parts when you have a team coming off such an exceptional performance that seemingly sort of came out of nowhere, although they're a much improved spot. All right, let's go into the taint play of the day. Matt Randall on a heater with you on the Eagles last night as the taint play of the day. Tonight's taint play of the day is Duke +3, and those threes are going away. Bookmaker still hanging one. Bovada, Bet365. Are you backing Duke tonight against Virginia Tech? Also, this total opened at 56 down to 52.5. Teddy covers Duke v Tech.
So if you see the sheet right here, well, you probably can't see it in the camera, but Duke's the first one on the list when I give you my 6 plays. And I got 7 listed here, so maybe I'll give you all 7. I couldn't decide which one to throw out or which one to add. Let's just give them what I got. But yeah, Duke's on my list. Duke's in my pocket. Duke at +3 is a bet that I thought was worthy of making. I do not trust Virginia Tech to beat this team. I think Duke is the better squad. Period. I mean, both sides of the football. I think Duke's the better team.
Well, let's take a look at what I can get them at right now. I've heard enough. I'm getting +3 and -120. That's available at Bet365, available at Bookmaker, and I am in. Duke +3 at -120. That's my second spot on this NCAA football card after Central Michigan at +17. Duke +3. CT Bays does not agree. Before we go into your plays, which we will do as soon as we're done this Friday card, the next game on deck. A lot of people have been talking about it. Penn State, Maryland. Maryland opening up at +6, now +6.5 at almost all of the books. And let me get to this total right now here in this Penn State thought, because there's been a lot of talk about this as well. Penn State, Maryland total open at 58 now, at 60 at Pinnacle, 60.5 at BetOnline, 61 everywhere else. Teddy covers Penn State, Maryland.
I'm not playing the game. I know it's a sellout for Maryland. It's going to be a sellout for Maryland with half the fans rooting for Penn State. There'll be ample Penn State support in the stands tonight. We've certainly seen 2 teams that recruit the same area. The better of the 2 teams wants to put their foot down on the other one. James Franklin is a favorite that we like. And Penn State is a team that when they get the opportunity, they punch in that last touchdown or that next touchdown. That's why they've been such a good point spread team and particularly such a good favorite. All that being said, what have we seen from Penn State this year that we like? That we're like, yeah, let's go lay a touchdown on the road with this team. I haven't seen enough that I like that I'm like, yeah, I want to do it. And I know that Maryland is a better team than the one that lost to Temple. I'm not saying they're as good as they looked the first 2 weeks, but I'm confident that they're better. I cashed ticket with Temple in that game. It was all about the spot, and it was a lot of Terps mistakes in that ballgame. They're capable of, they certainly appear capable of correcting many of those mistakes. Penn State's a class. I really hesitate to step in front of them. And I'm not going to step in front of them. But on the other hand, when we look at this year's results, Penn State doesn't merit being in this point spread range. So that's why I'm not going to get involved in the game. Total-wise, Nittany Lions' offense hasn't worked yet. But Maryland wants to push a little bit of pace. Maryland wants to get up and down the field. And if this game turns into a shootout, Penn State's capable of trading touchdowns with this team all night long. So from a total standpoint, this one might be better for live betting than for pregame betting. If you see these offenses start to move, you can get involved with an over here. I think the offense will move all night long. If they're struggling, if they're stuck in the mud, early on, I'm not convinced it'll get a whole lot better.
My guy, Topset, who is a OG low bagger, is very interested in the first half under in Penn State, Maryland. The way you've talked about this game already would give me hesitation to tell him to go ahead and make this move. Open at 28.5. You can now get 30.5 at Bet365 and Bookmaker, 30 everywhere else. What do you think about slow-moving football early?
Well, Penn State's been an under team. Penn State doesn't. They have the capacity to put points up on the board, but we've seen this offense look sluggish repeatedly. And Maryland's defense is better. So I've certainly at 30.5, you're getting good value there. I wouldn't talk you out of that bet.
All right. Okay, we got someone. Elio, I'd say move forward with it. Viper MB leaning Penn State -6.5. We got my guy Jorge, don't play in the house. Antoine Seymour says, my nephew plays for Duke, number 10. Waters is safety. It's his junior year. Man, I love that, Antoine Seymour. I've copied and pasted that. I will be part of the cheering squad for your nephew. Respect, Antoine. Thank you for sharing that info with us. All right, there's Friday's action. I'm only on Duke +3 right now, and at this point, I don't think I'm doing anything else. I don't think I'm going to do anything else. That's the only move I'm going to make at this point. One last note from our pink-eyed genie. It says, Berkeley, a wasteland for the ASU for more than 20 years. Arizona State is just 1-6 when visiting Cal from 98 to 2018. ASU has the fewest road wins in that 20-year span. At this point, Duke +3 is my only move. Now let's take a look at Teddy's card. This is exciting. So we've watched Teddy break down these games all week long, and we've watched this process, and this is when we get to see what he's on, which is very, very exciting. Teddy, and feel free to keep bringing your questions in, because after we hear Teddy's looks, I will start asking him questions. Teddy, let's hear your looks. I'm excited.
Sure, but I want to talk, and he said something about Arizona State that I thought was, and I'm spacing on what I was wanted to even come with, so I'll just freaking use the place. But there was something about Arizona State that he said that last commenter that I wanted to touch on. You remember if you repeat it, I'll be able to give it back.
Berkeley, a wasteland for ASU for more than 20 years.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's talking about the last 20 years.
Yeah.
All right. I can totally understand the concept of wanting to look at series history and see if can this team compete. But I could care less what happened 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I want what the fifth year seen. The last 5 years matters a lot. After that, it's static, in my opinion. It's not something I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at how a team does long term, and especially if we're talking about coaching changes and all of that. Saying, all right, well, they haven't done anything for the last 20 years. What have they done with the current coach? And the current coach with Herm Edwards, they've been in every road game. So that's why I'm really reluctant about the team-specific long-term data. It's, you can find stats and trends pointing in any direction you want to. The question is how you choose to use that. And in my mind, that's a data point that will lead you in the wrong direction more often than lead you in the right direction. When it comes to my plays for this week, I'm going to give you, what, do you want 6? Do you want 7? Should I self-edit here, or what do you want, Jimmy?
We want as many as possible. As many as possible.
Absolutely. All right. Game number 105, Duke +3, Friday night, 4 o'clock. We've talked about that, 4 o'clock. I'm giving Pacific Coast time, Vegas time, 7 o'clock on the East Coast, 5 o'clock in Costa Rica. But since the world lives on Vegas time, my time's going to be Vegas time. And you guys will have to figure it out from there, which I know you can do. Duke +3, 105 tonight. We talked about that. Again, 4 o'clock Friday. Tomorrow, I've got 3 early start games, 9 a.m. On the Pacific time, West Coast I want to talk about. This is one we talked about a little bit this week, but not a lot. Texas A&M, I laid -23. That's betting number 200 with the Aggies against Arkansas. 2 parts to this equation. One, Arkansas is pretty beat down right now. The comments that I was reading, this is not a team that is like, oh, we're going to bounce back off losing at home to San Jose State. I didn't get that impression from the Razorbacks this week. And on the other side of the equation, A&M, after this game, has a bye and then Alabama, and they're talking very much, we want to clean everything up off the messes we made last week. We have a huge game coming. So I'm getting the sense of urgency from A&M and a sense of lack of confidence from Arkansas. I laid the -23 with Texas A&M. Again, that's betting number 200. Another early start game for Saturday, Northwestern +24.5 against Wisconsin. I know I stepped in front of Wisconsin last week. I know I was wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong here. But 24.5 is too much for this rivalry. And this is a rivalry. And these two teams play tight every year. And you look at the last 4 years where where the seniors, the fifth-year seniors are involved, and you see every game is tight. You see Northwestern winning straight up at Wisconsin. And you see, obviously, we know the Wildcats' history of covering as a dog. And we know the Badgers played about as well as they could play last week. I'm not convinced they do it 2 weeks in a row. 24.5 is too much. Give me Northwestern plus the points. The third early start game, the 9 a.m. start or noon on the East Coast for Saturday that I like is Central Michigan. This is one we talked about a little bit yesterday. The 17, I got a 17. There were 17 and a half. So those are gone. I grabbed a 17 while I could. The markets have mostly moved to 16, 16 and a half on this game. You can still shop around and find a 17. That's one of the huge benefits of the SBR odds page that you should have bookmarked and be looking at every day. There are 17s available, and if you want Central, I would make sure I got the full 17. But all that being said, it wasn't just a 17 I took. I took a little taste of Central on the money line. I think they're live dogs in this one. And again, in revenge for an ugly home loss last year, we saw what they did at Miami last week. It's a better team than the market's giving them credit for. I like the Chippewas plus at the Broncos. Then let's go to the afternoon. We talked about the Old Dominion East Carolina game. Let's get that in here. Old Dominion minus the 3. That's betting number 180. That is a 3 o'clock Pacific time start, 6 o'clock on the East Coast. I think the price is cheap. ODU not used to being in this favorites role. And yes, East Carolina has their former defense coordinator as their defense coordinator right now. But, the Pirates are changing a lot. They're going from a pass first to a run first offense. The defense is not anything that I trust to get a whole lot of stops. Total in this game's low. It's not going to be a high score game. And I considered the under in this contest, but I thought the side might be. I think the side's the better of the two bets. ODU's better than East Carolina, and I don't trust the Pirates. I don't trust ODU's offense, the Monarchs, to move up and down the field, but I don't trust East Carolina's defense to get stops. Worth noting, ODU hasn't played a home game since August. There was a lot of talk about we're really looking forward to getting back on their home field. And their home field has, the years they're good, their home field is really strong. The years that they're bad, their home field's at least decent. So it's not one of these home fields that's not worth anything. ODU minus a 3 wouldn't talk you out of an under in that ball game. 2 left. Kansas State. We talked about this one. I got a better number than currently available in my pocket, even at +4. I think K-State's live. That's another one that you may want to take a piece of the money line with the Wildcats. What do we need to know about this Kansas State team? We know we like their coach. We know that we like their defense. We know that they are feisty road underdogs. And again, I talked about it several times on the show this week. I'm not an Oklahoma State believer, and I think that back-to-back fraudulent point spread covers, those are teams you can bet against as a favorite. They didn't deserve the cover against Tulsa. They didn't deserve the cover against Texas. They got them both, and the yardage stats look okay. The box scores look okay. If you watch the games, I think you know what I'm talking about. And I watched those games without action. The Tulsa game I didn't have any. So it's one of these situations where I'm not biased by what I watched, and I watched an Oklahoma State team that to me looks mediocre on both sides of the football. I took K-State plus the points, even at +4. Not the best of the number. +4, you're still getting the key numbers of 3 and 4 in your pocket. I'd make that bet now. That line could come down. And last but not least, and this is one I probably shouldn't give out now because wait, don't bet this yet. I think there's a decent chance you'll get a +7. Let's take Washington State, Wazoo plus the 7, and I'm going to grade off a 6.5. Okay, that's fair and reasonable. I'm giving it out right now. There may not be 7s, but I think there will be. It looks like Utah is going to have their quarterback and their running back, and Zach Moss, both in the lineup. And if both of those guys play, I'm sorry, Moss is still very much a maybe, but it looks like there's a chance he might play. The money has been trickling in on Utah, and when we hear an announcement, I think there's a decent chance this line moves up. But I'll grade it 6.5. I think that's only fair. But I think there's a solid. This is one you don't necessarily want to bet today. Wait until tomorrow to get involved with Wazoo. But again, it's one team who can score and one team struggles. And you look at the recent meetings, and we haven't seen Utah's defense shut down Washington State. I don't think they're going to shut down Washington State here. Washington State gets in the 20s, maybe in the 30s. So the Utah to win and cover this spread, they got to be well in the 30s. They haven't done that. That offense isn't built to do that. They're a ground and pound offense. And I understand Wazoo lost a 32-point lead at home last week and has to go on the road this week. The comments there are fine. The locker room there is fine. They turned the ball over 6 times. The quarterback threw 9 touchdown passes. I think Wazoo can trade scores with Utah all night, and I'll take them plus the points. And again, they're live to win.
There it is. Look at that. Nice work. Nice work, Teddy Covers. Duke +3. Back in the Aggies, depending on where you shop, around 23. Northwestern +24.5. Central Michigan, a play that I tailed Teddy Covers on, and I got the +17. I got that number. Now you can't get it 16 or 16.5. ODU -3. We've seen people on the other side throughout this week, but backing ODU, getting back on their home field. Kansas State +4. He has a better number in his pocket, but still vouches for the +4. And then Wazoo +6.5. Man, that's exciting. Viper NB with you on the ODU play. And there we have Teddy, 7 games of action. That's exciting. So which one did you not, or have you put in your Pick 6 contest, or which one of these did you not put in the Pick 6 contest?
So I haven't put in the Pick 6 contest, and I don't know if I'm going to use these. I might use some NFL. I got to win this week, man, So I'm going to sit down after we get off the show and decide which plays I'm going to use. I may well use that Falcons that we talked about. I do like Atlanta this week that we talked about earlier in the show. So it'll probably be a mix of those and some NFL mixed in. And exactly which one's going to use, I can't tell you. It'll depend on what the lines are when I'm putting in the plays.
I love it. Okay, we've got questions coming in. So I'm going to start hammering these questions. If anybody else has some questions, let me know. First off, we already know Wally George asked about Kansas State, Oklahoma State. Now you know the move here. We're backing Kansas State. I've not done that yet, but it certainly sounds appealing. That's Wally George's question. Jerry Beatty is asking about Lala, and we know that this is a spot that Drew Martin likes. Louisiana Lafayette. Jerry Beatty says, ask about Louisiana Lafayette, please. Jerry Beatty, what do you think? Lala.
Yeah, I don't want to take Lala in this game. I think they're the class. And again, when we look at this conference, it's not like it's loaded with quality. There's a handful of teams we want our money on. And you talk about any of the smaller, whether it's the Sun Belt, whether it's CUSA, whether it's the MAC. Again, my philosophy, my strategy for the smaller conferences, because there is a fair bit of randomness. There really is. I'm really looking to identify 1 or 2 bet on teams and 1 or 2 bet against teams. And if you find the best teams in the smaller conferences, you can ride them and ride them and ride them again. The markets struggle to catch up. And if you find the worst teams, you can fade them and fade them and fade them again. And that's really my whole thought process with these smaller conferences, is to find 1 or 2 teams in either direction. And that's what I'll be doing all year. I don't want the mediocre teams. I want the very good and the very bad. I think they might be the very good. And they certainly look like a bet-on squad.
Interesting. Derek Sutton coming in with an interesting comment. Says Georgia Southern 4-1 Sun Belt Conference openers and fresh off a bye. Louisiana Lafayette 8-14 straight up on the road last 5 years and playing a 5th straight week. I'm looking at the fresher team. Derek Sutton says, I'm looking at the fresher team with the potential of getting their number 1 quarterback for the game. Plus they are home. Georgia Southern wins straight up at plus 140. Okay, so bring in your questions. I got more questions right here. And the next question I had ready to go was Rich G. Says, please ask Teddy about FSU minus 6.5.
I don't know what to do with this game. Flat out, I really don't know what to do with Florida State right now. They're a team I have no feel for. I think there was some buy sign last week. They got off to the hot start. Well, they've done that before. They got slapped in the face. They've done that before. But last week, they punched back. That's a big sign. They scoring those last 2 touchdowns against Louisville was a big deal for that squad. They lose that game, it's a whole different story with Florida State. But the fact they punch back, maybe there is a buy sign there. Again, I'm not a Taggart hater. You want to find a call, you can take Chip Kelly. That's fine. Taggart is throughout his coaching career has won everywhere. Okay, and I think he'll win here if they don't run him out of town before he gets the opportunity to establish his pattern. So there might be a buy on Florida State right now, but they're not a team I'm excited about laying a touchdown with. I'm going to leave the game alone. It's a watch and learn for Florida State right now. I want to see how they respond to last week's win. Tough game. Good luck if you bet it.
Worldwide 1873 says UAB versus Western Kentucky. We already know Ray Williams, our guy Ray, liking UAB. Worldwide 1873 says I'm leaning UAB. Western Kentucky quarterback out. Teddy covers UAB, Western Kentucky.
So I've been waiting, like I said, we talked about this one a little bit earlier. I've been waiting for a spot to bet against UAB. I do not believe that UAB is as good as they are power rated right now. This is a team that lost everything in the offseason, everything on offense and on defense. And coming into the campaign, everyone said UAB's garbage, UAB's garbage, UAB. And they're not garbage. They're still good enough to blow out an Akron. They're still good enough to beat the very bad teams, the South Alabamas of the world. This isn't a very bad team. And I think UAB is primed for some comeuppance. And the only way I would get involved in this game is to fade them. And I haven't, which means I'm really hoping they win and cover again, because we will find spots to bet against UAB this year. It's coming. And this week might be a good week to do it. So, no, I do not recommend laying the points with the Blazers. Not a bet that I would make.
Not a bet that you would make. We have two people, Wally George and Avi Gold, back-to-back asking about Virginia plus the 12.5 or the 12, depending on where you shop. It's not on your card, but would you back them making this move?
So my initial lean, this is a little bit like the Arizona State game that we talked about earlier in the week. And I'm like, my initial lean was Arizona State. And at this point, I'm no longer interested. It's a full pass. My initial lean was towards Virginia plus. And at this stage, it's a full pass for me. I want no part of this game. And I want no part of the Cavs in this game. I think that I worry about the matchups here for Virginia on both sides of the football. I'm not sure they can score points in bunches. I'm not sure they can score enough to hang around in South Bend. I know everyone likes Benkert, all that. That Notre Dame defense is pretty freaking good. It really is. And Virginia is not an offense with a ton of explosiveness. They don't have the quick play, the big play, quick strike ability. And that worries me against this defense. I worry about Virginia getting worn down. Not that I'm laying with the Irish. Spot says no. And Mendenhall's feisty dog, and Virginia's defense pretty good. If I had to play, maybe I look at the under. But how much fun is this game going to be betting an under? None whatsoever to watch. But that's probably where the most value is. Sideways, I'm not going to play.
Interesting, looking at the under there, but not going to make a move. I got to make a note there. More questions coming in fast and furious, Teddy. Bubbarito, what about Ohio State, Nebraska over 66.5?
I certainly wouldn't talk you out of it. My biggest concern is the Buckeyes pass rush giving Adrian Martinez a problem. Ohio State's going to get theirs. Ohio State has gotten theirs in every game. I'm not sold on Nebraska's defense being capable of shutting down the Buckeyes. So the question is, can Nebraska put up points as well? And, if Nebraska can put up points, the game goes over the total and Nebraska covers. If they can, Ohio State wins and covers and the game stays under. The Buckeyes are getting theirs. Part of me thinks that Martinez is going to be able to have some success in this matchup. Because Ohio State, we have they lead the nation in sacks. The two ends are ridiculous. Martinez takes sacks. He holds the ball in the pocket. But if they have a game plan, which I think Scott Frost will have against Ohio State, where the ball comes out of Martinez's hands fast and he's making quick decisions, run-throw decisions, a lot of RPO options, that might work against Ohio State. It really might. So pregame, I'm not going to get involved in this. This is one where I could well get involved in game. As you see the flow early, if Nebraska's not moving the football, Ohio State's going to win and cover, and the game's going to stay under. Nebraska is moving the football. We'll look for the exact opposite, Nebraska to cover and the game to go over the total. So this is a watch and learn. I don't know if Nebraska's offense is going to work here.
All right, we are running out of time, but Rich G says BYU Toledo over 60. What do you think there, Teddy?
Yeah, I'll do quick hitters from here on out. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I ramble on these games. BYU Toledo over. I certainly wouldn't talk you out of it. But BYU should be able to control the line of scrimmage in this game on offense, and that gives them potential to score some points. But in general, BYU's not an over team. Their defense is better than their offense. Their offense doesn't have a ton of playmakers. But in the trenches, on the offensive line, I think BYU has some real dominance here. They should be able to put up points. And Toledo's got explosiveness. I wouldn't talk you out of the play.
All right, we're going to close with this. Casano Magic says, Jimmy, can you ask Teddy if Buffalo wins again as underdogs on the road against Miami of Ohio?
I have no opinion on that game whatsoever. I do not trust Buffalo to do anything. They're not a team I'm going to ask to win for me very often. And we've seen some really ugly showings. The Liberty game certainly stands out to me as a reason why I wouldn't want Buffalo there. At the same time, Miami coming off a game. Hey, they led at Ohio State last week, 5-0. They ended up giving up 76 unanswered. It's not a good football team. I'm not excited about betting on either of these two bad football teams. I'll leave the game alone.
All right, we have a final question. We'll go one more question here. And who asked it? My guy Shadow, whom we love dearly. He wants to know about this Michigan State spot. Indiana at Michigan State. Michigan State opening up at minus 15.5, now minus 14 or 13.5. This total standing at 44. Teddy covers Indiana, Michigan State.
Sparty's defense is as good as anything. And they're not a team I have any rush to step in front of. When you have a defense like that and a not sexy offense, the betting markets tend to overlook you a little bit, and the only support you get is from wise guys. And the wise guys are betting the other way this week. All the money's come on Indiana. Plus, I'm not worried about the Hoosiers quarterback injury. The backup was last year's starter, so it's not any issue there whether it's Penix or Ramsey. I don't know that Indiana. See I've got very mixed feelings about Michigan State's offense. At times, they have moved the football effectively and looked like a team that can score. At other times, they've looked as inept as ever and a team you can't lay points with. And the trend under D'Antonio is don't lay doubles with Sparty and all of that. Maybe you lean under here. It's not a game I'm going to play.
Not a game you're going to play. Although Raven in the Desert is on the over 44 in Michigan State. Wow, what a treat it is to roll with you all week long. Teddy covers. Teddy's action. Duke +3. Texas A&M -23. Northwestern +24.5. Central Michigan +17. ODU -3. Kansas State +4, although he has a better number in his pocket. Washington State +6.5. But he's thinking that we could see a 7. And then if you want to go with Wazoo, roll with that 7. Don Corleone says, Jimmy asked Teddy, would you still take Duke at +2.5, Teddy?
No, I would never. When you're talking about a key number, all right, a 3 in particular, if it's there at 3, I'm going to bet it. If it's not there and I'm not getting the number and I'm going to lose at a bet that the final score is most likely to be, I don't play the game. You turn a positive expectation wager into a negative expectation wager between 3 and 2.5. And even if it's only 52% versus 48%, that's a huge difference, man. No, I don't play it at 2.5. At 2.5, maybe you think about the money line. But even then, you lost the best of it. Get more outs. Visit that SBR odds page and get another out. When their books that still have 3 on this game right now.
That's what you Bet365.
You don't say, I'm taking the 2.5. You say, hey, I'll use the SBR odds page, open a new account, and bet the +3 right now. That's my advice. That's the way to do it.
It's well put. And Bet365 still hanging that +3 at -120. I got to make a move on that immediately. Oh, Teddy covers. What a treat it is to roll with you all week long, man. I enjoy this immensely. And these Saturdays have been so much fun. Although the last thing I remember is losing 7 straight Saturday night. But we can fix that tomorrow, which I plan to do. Also, get it started right with Duke +3 tonight. Teddy covers, thank you so much for joining us. Please, can you let all the low baggers know where they can find you on Twitter and how they can follow you, all of your, because he's very active on Saturday and Sundays. So can you drop your Twitter handle and then please give some good words, some final thoughts to our great cappers in the chat?
Absolutely. Follow me on Twitter at Teddy_covers. I'm getting new follows every day, guys. I really appreciate all the contributions, all the comments, lots of feedback. And I like that. I'm not great at responding all the time, but I check it out. I do notice it. I do read it. And I really appreciate it. At Teddy_covers. As for any piece of advice this weekend, it's the same advice every week, Jimmy. Bet with your head, not over it. Don't come back Monday. Oh my God, my life is ruined. If you had a bad weekend, it's okay. We're going to have fun. We're going to make money. Enjoy yourselves. Good luck this weekend.
Oh, great job. Alex Ramirez says Teddy Wisdom is his new name. Joseph Brown says, great job, Teddy. Shadow says, Teddy is as good as they come. Chris Gill says, great show today, fellas. And Eric Nisbet says, respect. Teddy covers. Avi Gold says, great advice from Teddy. Prince of the City says, when is the best weather in Costa Rica? It's coming up soon. It's about like November. No, it's the dry season is like November, mid-November to April? November to April, like that. So, Prince of the City, we need you down here. Come party with me, please. Then I can go out at night. Sadly, that's the case. Okay, there we go. Big weekend ahead of us. The only action I have added is Duke +3, but I haven't bet it yet. I got to keep going back to this book to make sure it's still there. It's still there. Duke +3 -120. Thank God. Okay, and then in baseball, I'm on the first 5 under 5.5 in Indians Nationals. I'm on the Marlins team total over 3.5 -125. Marlins at Phillies. And then I have one more play, and that's the over 10 in the Twinkies game. Twinkies Royals over 10. Lizo, Dom Ricci, Jason Kelly. Jason Kelly says, why do you live in Costa Rica? Just because SBR is here. Because this is where we are. This is where the studio is. This is where the magic happens. And you know what? I needed to get out of Parkdale in Toronto. It's not the place I dreamt of living. Let me leave it at that. So yeah, thank you guys so much. We have no show without you guys. Let's have a big weekend here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Giant late show. Tons of guests on my late show, including Anna Merrick with his UFC breakdown. Most importantly, though, Leche. Hey, los bookmakers.